Well, welcome back, Thursday Night Rooted Group, and I do just have a few more thoughts to share with you. The first one is I wanted to say a bit about the role of the Rooted Facilitator, because I think it's a little different. If some of you have been in small groups before, or kind of Sunday school classes or whatever, that really the role of the Rooted Facilitator isn't to be the teacher. So there isn't going to be a lesson each week, right? That's what those 5 weekly readings are. Is that's really the lessons that you're able to come and then talk about it on Thursdays. So it's not John's responsibility to be the expert or whatever else. And really, what we learned last fall when we did Rooted with the Young Adults is that the role of the facilitator, the primary role of the facilitator, really is to pray for the group, to pray for the individuals in the group. So John, I appreciate and commend you for wanting to take up and being willing to take up that mantle, and I just want to very strongly encourage you to really every day to be praying for your Rooted group. And I mean, you can kind of work out what that'll look like in your own practice, but I just cannot more strongly encourage and commend you to do that and to take up that role of kind of chief prayer over the group. And then the secondary aspect of the facilitator role is to facilitate, is to kind of keep the conversation moving, to keep the meeting kind of moving along as it's supposed to. And part of that is that the facilitator, not everyone is required to speak in your group discussion time, but we also know that and I'm one of these people, that there are people who can then overtake the conversation, kind of do most of the talking. And so part of the facilitator role is to also try and guide that as well, and to kind of have those interactions, saying, well, person, you're actually talking not in the middle of the group, obviously, but it's his job to go, you're actually over talking. And so you need to kind of hit the brakes a little bit and let other people have that opportunity. So that's really what the role of the facilitator is. And I just wanted to kind of offer that just to maybe clarify for you all just kind of what John's roles and responsibilities really are going to be. The other thing I want to talk about, there's two more things I want to talk about, but the other main thing is you'll notice, so the third week of Rooted is about prayer and spiritual disciplines and how we hear from the Lord. And then right after that in your notebook, you're going to find something called the prayer experience. And the way it's set up in the Rooted notebook is it's a 2-hour kind of prayer event. And we have decided for various reasons, rather than doing that for these Rooted groups, your prayer experience is actually going to be the prayer labyrinth that Calvary is hosting on September 28th and 29th, the last Saturday and Sunday of September. And we're excited about that. I know many of you, or some of you, may have never gone through a prayer labyrinth before. That's great. This is going to be your first one. And so that is going to be the prayer experience. And that is another part of this commitment, is that you're being asked to come to the 10 meetings, and you're also being asked to participate in the prayer experience. And then later on, there's going to be a service experience. Prayer labyrinth should only take about half an hour, and it's designed for you to go through in pairs or potentially trios. And so I think what we're thinking is each of the Rooted groups will kind of choose a time range that they're going to come to the labyrinth together and then go through it, 2 by 2. And so that's basically the plan for the prayer experience. And I mostly just wanted to let you know that. So when you find that in your Rooted notebook, you go, oh wow, it's like, no, we're actually going to be doing this instead. And so we're looking forward to that, and I hope that you will be as well. And the last thing I just wanted to touch on very briefly is, and it's come up a few times, but I think that there's just going to be aspects of these next 10 weeks that are going to be new and are going to be uncomfortable, and there's really no way to get around that, because not doing the things really isn't an option. That's not part of what Rooted is, and so obviously, I said, it's not a requirement to speak during the group discussion time, but it really is required for you to show up. It's required for you to do the readings. It's required for you to, when there's the different prayer things happening, to do that. It's required for you to share your testimony. And so I think that I would just advise you to try and get over that as much as possible now, that there's just going to be aspects of this that are going to be uncomfortable. And I think that you will be better for it. I think that the Lord knows, somebody looking from the outside would go, that's not a big deal, to share your testimony. Why are they making such a, other people can't always gauge those things, but I think the Lord knows how big of a deal some of these things are going to be for some of you. And I think that He's honored by your willingness to do something new, to, go out on a limb, to, expose yourself to risk, right? When it comes to sharing about our lives, that's an exposure of risk. And so, yeah, I just want to encourage you with that I think that this is an excellent opportunity to trust the Lord, not just to talk about that, but to actually do it in these ways over these next 10 weeks. And so that's it. Just to embrace that and to try and walk with Jesus. And I think you can admit it. I think you can tell your group mates, this is actually going to be really hard for me, and I think that I think that's okay too, to just let them know that, doing this particular thing is very difficult. And yeah, so, but I just want to clarify some of those things for you as well. And obviously, if I was there, I'd be able to ask, if anybody has any questions or if something wasn't clear, but I'm not there, so I can't. So if you have any pressing questions or something that you need clarification on, do feel free to get in touch with me, and we'd be happy to clear those things up. But anyway, again, I just want to say how thankful I am that each of you are going to be part of this experience, and just how excited I am. I wish I could be part of the Thursday Night Rooted group, and I tell all the groups that, but it's true every time, right? I mean, these are really, really wonderful, stellar groups of people, and I definitely feel like I'm missing out. It's like, oh man, all these people are going to get together and do these things. But I'm glad that you're going to be part of the Rooted experience. Have a good rest of the night.